Hey guys, DC Network here, coming at you with another video. So about a month or so ago, Sam Register, who is the head of Cartoon Network Studios, sat down with Vulture to discuss the current state of Cartoon Network Studios. It wasn't really anything too crazy said in the article, just essentially talking about how they want to make new IPs with new creators to get new voices into Cartoon Network Studios. But there was one quote in particular that really piqued my interest, and I wanted to talk to you guys about that quote in today's video. So Sam Register said, "For a long time, Cartoon Network did only shows for kids, mostly boys aged 6 to 11, mostly 11 minutes long, with production mostly shipped overseas. It made amazing content, but that alone doesn't work in a streaming universe. So instead of just doing 6 to 11 kids content, we're doing preschool content and adult content, and in different formats, making movies, making more young adult content, bringing back more shorts." Now this quote in particular really piqued my interest because, as Sam Register said, Cartoon Network Studios pretty much for the entirety of its life as a company since its inception, it's pretty much always been making content for ages 6 to 11. It's pretty much always been targeting that specific market. While yes, some of these shows that they've been making through the years do have some more mature themes in them, it's still targeting that main 6 to 11-year-old market. You can, as an older fan, still enjoy these series, and I've enjoyed plenty of the shows they made, like for example the past decade, Adventure Time Regular Show, Amazing World of Gumball, and Steven Universe. Those shows older fans can enjoy, and it does have a big fan base that obviously is older than the main demographic, but the main demographic is still 6 to 11-year-olds. They're still targeting those kids. What Sam Register is saying here is that going forward, they're going to be doing content for all ages. They have Cartoonito for the preschool kids. They have the regular Cartoon Network for 6 to 11-year-olds. And they're going to be making adult content as well as making more young adult content, movies, and shorts. This is really something that's great to hear because it seems like going forward, Cartoon Network is truly going to have something for everyone. They're going to have things for, a preschool kid. They're going to have things for a kid who's in grammar school. They're going to have things for kids in high school, maybe for people who are in college or people who have their own kids. It seems like they're going to be making content for everyone, which, like I said before, is fantastic to see. Obviously, as of right now, we don't have anything concrete here as to what show could be getting the adult or young adult treatment or movie treatment or short treatment. We just know that they're apparently going to be looking at this going forward. Going forward, Cartoon Network Studios is going to say, okay, what can we make for preschoolers? What can we make for kids 6 to 11? What can we make for young adults? What can we make for regular adults? What can we make for everybody to enjoy? Now, just because he's saying this, it doesn't mean that, hey, if a show is targeted for ages 6 to 11, then no one above age 11 is going to enjoy it, because no, that's not the case. They can still make shows for ages 6 to 11 that you as I don't know, let's say you're 33 years old or 43 years old or 53 years old, however old you are, you can still enjoy the series that are being targeted to kids 6 to 11. I'm sure some of them will still have mature themes in them, but what Sam Register is saying here is that we're also going to take you, a 33-year-old, you, a 43-year-old, and you, a 53-year-old, and we're going to target you and make content that is supposed to be specifically for you. Which is really just great to hear, honestly. It's great to see that Cartoon Network is finally realizing that there is a market outside of the kids ages 6 to 11. There are people who grew up watching these series, these different Cartoon Network originals, and also even going back even further, the different Hanna-Barbera series. There are people who grew up with those shows who would love to watch a current iteration, or rather a new iteration of that franchise, but meant for an older audience. Like, for example, I would love to see a Ben 10 that's meant for young adults or for adults. I'd love to see Ben 10 become a darker series with a serious plot. But the one question I have is, will they, because they've never done this before, and I made a video a while ago talking about this, will they take a franchise like Ben 10? Will they take it and have two ongoing series at the same time? Will they have a show that is meant for kids ages 6 to 11 And then will they have an older audience show? Let's say it's a Ben 10, Omniverse sequel series that's meant for adults or young adults. That's the one question I have here, because I discussed this a long time ago, and I'll leave a card to that video above, but they've never done this before. Like, there's always one Scooby-Doo, there's always one Looney Tunes, there's not Teen Titans Go alongside the original Teen Titans revival, it's one or the other. They've never done both, so I'm curious reading this. Will Cartoon Network Studios, and I know, Teen Titans, Scooby-Doo, and Looney Tunes, they're not made by Cartoon Network Studios, but will Cartoon Network Studios take a franchise like, let's say, Ben 10, and make a show that's meant for younger audiences, while also having a series for older audiences as well? That's the one question I have here, because, in my opinion, I don't understand why you wouldn't do that. I would, quite frankly, have 3 Ben 10 series going on at the same time. One for preschoolers, one for kids ages 6 to 11, and then one for young adults or adults. That way, you are covering every single market when it comes to the Ben 10 brand. And you might say, DC Network, what's the point of making a Ben 10 series for preschoolers? Like, they don't know who Ben 10 is. Well, if you introduce preschoolers or kids at a young age to the Ben 10 franchise, then when they get into that 6 to 11-year-old range where that next Ben 10 series is, they'll then jump to that show. Then when they become a young adult or an adult, they'll jump to whatever the sequel series to Omniverse is that's being targeted towards that audience. Then they'll go back and say, hey, that Ben 10 show I was watching as a preschooler, it turns out that there was a Ben 10 reboot, an original Ben 10 series, Alien Force Ultimate Alien, and Omniverse. I'm gonna check all those out on HBO Max. It just introduces these franchises to people at a much younger age, which makes them more likely to stick with it as they get older, just because nostalgia sells, and people like to stick with the brands they're familiar with if they're, of course, enjoying it. But overall, this is something that's fantastic to read, like I said before. I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes out of this. What shows are going to be meant for adults, for young adults, what movies, what shorts. It's just great to see that they're going to be making all content for all ages, because for the longest time now, Cartoon Network's kind of just completely forgotten about the older audience. They've just been focusing on that young demographic, not realizing that they're kind of sitting on a gold mine. There's a lot of people who grew up with these series who would immediately flock to HBO Max or to Adult Swim or wherever you have these shows air, just because it's the shows they grew up on. That new Galactic Kids Next Door show, oh, that's Codename Kids Next Door. I watched that when I was little. I'm gonna check out Galactic Kids Next Door. Same thing with any property they've had. Let's say The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. Oh, there's a new movie going to HBO Max. All right, I'm gonna pay $15 for HBO Max so I could check out that new movie, because I loved Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy when I was little. Again, this is just great to hear, and I really hope something good comes out of it. But of course, we're gonna have to wait and see. Hopefully we get some announcements this year, maybe at Comic-Con or something, so we can see what is the future of these young adults and adult programs that Cartoon Network Studios is supposedly going to be producing. Anyways, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think about all of this. Are you as excited as me to hear that Cartoon Network is now actually going to make adult and young adult programming, in addition to having movies and shorts as well? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.